Dear Mom, once again, cold prison bars separate me from you, the world, from even myself, I think. I know that others doubt the truth of my sincerity. They doubt my goals, my dreams for prosperity. How can I blame them for a pessimistic loss of hope, when it was I who braided my own rope? For I could not live without money and dope. Trapped in a personal hell, selfish, lost and afraid. Oh, how many sleepless nights have I prayed that I would change for good and make you proud. Bring joy to your heart, always be around. But just like so many times before, I made a mistake. Playing games with my life with careless chances I take. Risking death, meaning my last breath. I don't think I have too many of them left. So I need to slow down, reevaluate my life. Never give up is the essence of my strife. Though true, I know I said it all before, that I will try to change and break laws no more. One can sound like a record that's broke, taking life for granted like it was a joke. Let my words be actions and results you'll see. It's all I can do for you to see the change in me. Love, your son. Hello everybody, my name is Jason J.D. Rutherford and I am the co-author of Dear Mom, Dear Son, Separated by Bars, Not the Heart. You can pick up a copy at Amazon.com or Kindle and Kindle Unlimited, also soon to be available on audiobook. So let me just give you a little history about this book. This is me and my mother's story from when I was incarcerated in the federal prison system in 2012 until 2016 when she passed away. It started out where I sent her the poetic letter that you just heard in the opening of this, and she responded with one of her own. As time went on, we just decided to continue this kind of like a bonding project, and all of our letters that we corresponded back and forth to was poetic. You know, there weren't so many of them, but we decided we were going to limit these to 20 total poems, and that we were going to put them in a notebook and keep it as kind of like a family heirloom. It wasn't never really meant to be published into what it became today, but sit back and listen a little bit to how this came about and how this really turned into the book that you're seeing today in Dear Mom, Dear Son, Separated by Bars, Not the Heart. So back in about 2015, my mother revealed to me that she had stage 4 bone and lung cancer. Now, this was very devastating news for me because, you know, I was still a couple years out from being released, and I didn't know if I'd ever see her again. As a matter of fact, I started knowing deep down in my heart that I would probably never physically see her again. And this was an extremely difficult moment in my life, and there was a time there where we weren't corresponding poetically anymore. We were just talking on the phone mostly, but she told me, like, you know, deep into her chemo, and she'd already lost a bunch of hair and stuff, that she wanted to continue to write these and she wanted to finish it. And that she was thinking that, you know, how great it would be if we turned it into a book. And I wasn't really much, you know, in the same mindset as her on that and making a book because, I mean, I was looking at it as just something that I was doing with my mother because I thought I was going to lose her back in 2012. I thought I'd finally burn the bridge down forever and that I would probably never see her and that she'd disown me. I mean, it happens. A lot of people get disowned in prison. So it didn't happen, and all this book did is it built us up stronger together. It built our relationship up together a lot stronger. So we continued to write it, and then about 3 weeks before she passed away, she had to write one last poem to make this book 20 poems total, and she wrote it and sent it. So I was able to get the very last poem, and then she passed away 3 weeks later. So I've never seen a book quite like this one. I mean, there's books out there dealing with the relationship a mother has with their incarcerated loved ones. You know, those that correspond with their incarcerated brothers, their incarcerated husbands. But I've never quite seen one like this, where it's just strictly poetic letters and memoir commentary in between each poetic exchange, pretty much detailing like what we were going through, what we were talking about, what we were feeling at the time. So I urge each and every one of you to get out there and get you a copy of this. Dear Mom, Dear Son, Separated by Bars, Not the Heart. Available at Amazon and Kindle and soon to be on audiobook. I mean, you will not be disappointed in what you're going to read. It's a very emotional journey. I know it'll bring some of you to tears. And if a lot of you can relate to this and you have a loved one that's incarcerated, feel free to pick up a copy and send it in to them. Most institutions or criminal justice systems across the country and across the world recognize Amazon as being an approved vendor of literature. So you can actually send a copy in to one of your loved ones as well. There's already been several people that have sent their sons and daughters copies of these books, and some of the feedback they've gotten back from their loved one has been tremendous. So I welcome you in joining me in this journey and picking up a copy of Dear Mom, Dear Son, Separated by Bars, Not the Heart, and experience this wonderful story together with me and my mother, because she sits here with both of us in spirit. Thank you. Have a great day. Hello, everybody. JD here again, wishing you all a happy Mother's Day and hoping it's you're having a very blessed day and the best that you could be. And speaking on behalf of myself and all your sons and daughters that are away, Mom, I love you very much. I miss you. I'm thinking about you, and know that you are definitely appreciated every day of my life. And that's the truth of the matter is they appreciate you. They love you very much. It may not seem like it, and they may not show it, but believe me, they do. And that's what this passage right here, this exchange of letters in Dear Mom, Dear Son, Separated by Bars, Not the Heart, is going to show you, is where it all started for me and my mother on creating this book that I'm now bringing to you. today is the 1 year anniversary of when I, got this off of the ground. It's the 2 year anniversary of being away from my mother, having a Mother's Day without her. It's a very emotional time for me, very difficult, very hard. Starting about a couple of weeks ago, I started seeking out a lot of support groups and stuff to, help me through this. And a lot of mothers of incarcerated sons and daughters, incarceration support groups, reentry intervention groups, and stuff like that. And I decided that, I'm going to start getting a lot more involved and taking a leap of faith and getting out there and becoming a part of the solution and stop being a part of the problem. So a lot of that began with, getting this off the ground, and I got a lot of other stuff that I'm working in the pipeline, and I'm networking with people. And like I said, I've met so many of you, and you're all so very important to me, and I love all the feedback that you give me, and I love hearing from you, and I love, writing letters to your sons or whatever that are incarcerated, and I when I hear their responses back, I mean, I can't tell you how it feels. It gives them hope knowing that it could be done, because I was considered to be a 99.9% probability that I was going to return to prison because of the circumstances. I've been in and out of prison my whole life. I'm in my 40s, and I was going basically to nowhere with no money and no support, nothing, and I made it. I believe that I have a recipe and a formula for success, and in the weeks and the months to come, I'm going to be sharing more and more of that. But I'm not going to really talk about that right now. I want to really bring you this poem, this exchange of poems that me and my mother had, as a gift from me and all of your sons and daughters to you, Mom. This is to you. And this is to show you that, believe me, that you're very important for all of us. Don't ever think that you're not. And don't ever think that you didn't do enough, or that you think that you need to do more or whatnot. Because just by you being there, man, I mean, it's a blessing. It's a blessing, and that's really, for a lot of us, that's all we need. So let me go ahead and go through this with you so that you can feel it and that you'll know. Because my mother was getting ready to give up on me when I wrote this first poem, right? This is what started it all, and this is what brought us back together. So this is where I always refer back to, and I read this exchange a lot because it's what really grounds and centers me and keeps me on my square. So, dear Mom, once again, cold prison bars separate me from you, the world, from even myself, I think. I know that others doubt the truth of my sincerity. They doubt my goals, my dreams for prosperity. How can I blame them for a pessimistic loss of hope, when it was I who braided my own rope, for I could not live without needle and dope. Trapped in a personal hell, selfish, lost, and afraid, oh, how many sleepless nights have I prayed that I would change for good and make you proud. Bring joy to your heart, always be around. But just like so many times before, I made a mistake, playing games with my life with careless chances I take, risking death, meaning my last breath. I don't think I have too many of them left. So I need to sit down, slow down, and reevaluate my life. Never can I give up is the essence of my strife. Though true, I know I said it all before, that I will try to change and break laws no more. One can sound like a record that's broke, taking life for granted like it was a joke. Let my words be actions and results you'll see. It's all I can do for you to see the change in me. Love, your son. And that's all I can do for you to see the change in me, Mom, is just let my actions speak. So I was very surprised to get a response from her, and she wrote one back in poetry as well. And man, I mean, this is where the spark of hope and light started to come in me, because I kicked off a spark inside of her with mine, and then hers kicked it off with me, and it was just on to the races at this point. Dear son, through all the years I've loved you and hoped that you would see the crooked path that you followed could never set you free. And there were times when I despaired that you would never learn that faith and peace within the soul is something you must earn. It took so long for you to get to where you are today, faith that lives within your heart, that peace that you display. So many dreams were shattered, so many tears I cried. Now all those dreams live again, and all my tears have dried. Now you know prison life that's made of iron bars. It can never harm your soul within, as faith can leave no scars. I know there's things within your past you wish you could forget, for all they ever brought was pain and choices you regret. But your faith has found a purpose that lights the path ahead, and the past is but an echo of things now long since dead. With love, your mom. All those tears have dried. All those tears she cried. Here I am, telling you I will try and change no more, no more. How many times have you all heard that? So we went through this, and this is where it started. And basically, the only thing that I could tell her was, let my actions speak. For that's all I could do for you to see the change in me, is to let my actions speak. And all that she can do was stand by and say, you know what? I'm going to stand by your side. I'm not giving up on you. You're my son. Why would I give up on you? So this is where it began. And this is really what pushed me in the right direction. So just a little hope for all of you. And know that you found a true friend in me and a true son to help guide all of you. And I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to be doing a lot more to shut down this cash cow revolving door human warehousing system that the United States is profiting off of. It's got to come to an end at some point. So with that, I just want to say, Happy Mother's Day again. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And again, remember, we all love you very much. So if you like these posts, you could see more of them on Dear Mom, Dear Son. It's a group that you can find on Facebook. You can also follow me on Instagram, JD Rutherford. Also on Facebook is Jason JD Rutherford. Some of you are already friends with me. You can find this book, Dear Mom, Dear Son, Separated by Bars, Not the Heart, written by Linda L. Rutherford and Jason J.D. Rutherford. You can find it on Amazon or Kindle. It's available in paperback and ebook. Pretty soon, I'm going to be putting it into audio book for those of you that don't read or just want to hear it. So I'm working on getting that out there next. So coming from Oklahoma City, it's J.D. Rutherford again, just saying I love you all. Peace be with you, and enjoy your Sunday.
My name is Terry Robinson. I met JD through a Facebook group that I'm a member of. We're all moms with sons incarcerated. JD reached out to our group, and after texting with him several times, he told me about the book him and his mom co-authored, Dear Mom, Dear Son. I bought the book and read it in a day. I couldn't put it down. His mom spoke words all of us moms with boys locked up thought of each and every day. JD and I continued to text, and at one point I mentioned that my son seemed to be pulling back a little. Less phone calls, less emails. JD reached out to my son, and they corresponded with each other. After several weeks, I could tell there was a difference in my son's voice. He told me that JD encouraged him to follow his dreams, to never feel less than, and to not sabotage himself by setting too many goals at once. I will forever be indebted to JD. He showed my son to stand for something and follow your dreams. JD is a young man who will continue to inspire mothers like us with incarcerated sons and to inspire his stand for something life.
Hi everyone, I'm Davine Souther. I want to thank JD Rutherford for the wonderful and supportive program, Stand for Something Life, that he has put together to support families with incarcerated children. JD has given my son Levi the foundation necessary to start his journey to a better life while being incarcerated and for when he is released. Because of JD, Levi has taken a step back to work on himself, and he is now feeling hopeful for his future. Keep up the good work, JD.
Hello everybody. I wanted to take a moment to tell you how grateful I am that J.D. Rutherford has decided to help my son Matthew. Matthew is incarcerated, and he is on his 4th incarceration. I am glad that J.D. believes that he can help him to stay out, finally, for good, this time. I am impressed with J.D. Rutherford. I have read his book, and I believe he has an incredible insight into the relationship between a mother and her son, especially while her son is incarcerated. I am quite impressed with the fact that J.D. Rutherford not only maintains a stressful career, but he finds the time to help others stay out of prison as well. I think that he is a wonderful guy, and I encourage anybody that needs his help to come forward and ask JD. JD, we're very glad to have you. Thank you so much.
Firstly, I want to say JD is an amazing human being. After watching only one video of his in a prison support page, I felt like I had finally found someone who really cares about the injustice of the justice system. I am in Australia, but we also have the same problems here. I reached out to JD and he responded and wrote my son a brutally honest letter. My son's response to JD's letter was he was amazed that someone who really knew his situation and what he was going through had reached out to him. It has given him a different perspective, and he looks forward to corresponding with JD.
Hi, I'm Anna Rogers. I'm a high school teacher. I teach psychology and criminology. I know JD through a mutual friend. I asked him to record a video for me for my class. And hearing his story and just talking to him changed my whole perspective on what and who I thought an ex-con would be and their experiences. It also changed and touched a lot of my students, and I feel like I'm a better person just for knowing him and knowing his story. And I feel like there's other stories very similar to his that, voices that need to be heard.
Think of how many more lives can be changed with this work. Stand for Something Life is unlike any other solution currently out there in the criminal justice reform world that I've seen. Stand for Something Life is a real solution to not only empowering formerly incarcerated men and women to achieve success, but most importantly to break the cycle of victim making and crime that affects all of us. Our goal of reaching $2,000 is essential in taking Stand for Something Life to the next level as a nonprofit organization and providing the services to many while continuing to contribute to keeping our streets safe. According to Nonprofit Hub, incorporation in Form 1023 to achieve 501c status breaks down as follows. Corporation fee is $25. A 501c could be anywhere from $400 to $850. Oklahoma business registration fees is $100. With all the startup equipment and supplies that we're going to need, we'll take about another $200. Initial coming up speaking event at Florence, Colorado, at the federal prison that I released from, will take about $175 to cover room, board, and food for my traveling expenses there. Advertising, 4 cents on every dollar raised, lowball figure about $200. Hired help with initial advertising and guidance, about another $450. With your help, we can make Stand for Something Life a powerful tool in continuing the process of changing lives, reducing crime, and changing our world for a better place for our children to live in. Any donations of $9 or more, I'll send you a signed copy of me and my mother's book, Dear Mom, Dear Son, just for saying thank you. Just send me an email to JARU, a copy of your contribution, and I will send you a signed copy of me and my mother's book. So please get out there and donate now, and let's start providing some real solutions that work. Good evening, everybody. Jason J.D. Rutherford here with an excerpt from Dear Mom, Dear Son, separated by bars, not the heart. First off, let me start by saying Happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there for Sunday. Especially those of you that are separated from your loved ones, either through incarceration, military service overseas, or maybe they're just living far away from you and they can't be by your side for this Mother's Day. Just a shout out to all of you from all the men and women that are incarcerated in the prisons in the United States, and they have a mother out there that loves them and misses them very much, and Mother's Day is a very hard time for them in there because they're scrambling around trying to find you gifts because they can't get you C's candy, or they can't buy you flowers or anything else, or even show up and maybe have a barbecue at your house. Speaking from experience, I've been incarcerated several times over a course of several years, decades actually, and I always knew that I had to hurry up and scramble around and chase the artist that was on the tier or on the block to draw me up a beautiful card for my mother for Mother's Day. So this is actually an additional gift that you may receive, because I'm sure there's some of you mothers out there that have received some of these cards, some of these handmade cards that somebody had done for them on the tier, and they mailed it off to you. So in addition to that, I would like to say, speaking on their behalf, Mama, I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you for staying by my side. And the gift that I'm going to give to all of you right now is I'm going to read you an excerpt from me and my mother's book, Dear Mom, Dear Son. And first I'm going to start out by reading the commentary before the poems, before the letters, so it could give you kind of an insight into what's going on, a little clear as to what the thinking was and what we were going through. This exchange right here was in regards to who was important to me. All the people that I thought were my homies, my friends on the streets, turned out to be not very important to me. And I found that out, because I finally realized when I wrote this poem that they didn't have my back. My mother, my family is the one that had my back. So just listen to this exchange real fast, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope that you can feel all the emotion and everything that we were going through, and you could relate to it in some way. I'm going to do this to one of my mother's favorite songs. My mother was a hardcore Beatles fan, so one of her favorite Beatles songs was Hey Jude. Paul McCartney sung it, and it was one of her favorite songs, so I'm going to play it as I read these excerpts, and I hope that it doesn't drown it out. So here we go. So here we go with the first part of this. So this was me writing this commentary. The sun. The sun rises and it sets each and every day. Through the dirty glass and bars of my window, I can see the earth's shining source of power illuminate the day. It strolls the yard with us. It does not share the yard, for it is everywhere. It is not isolated to the yard, for it moves from one end of the penitentiary to the next, jumping all fences of barbed wire and electricity. It is not a prisoner as I am, but it does not turn its back on me because I am a prisoner. My mom's response. The mother. Years slipped away from him. The time he did removed not only his body from society, but his mind and understanding as well. All his nieces and nephews grew up until he could no longer recognize them anymore. His own mother grew older and older as well. His friends on the streets, his peers, either suffered the same fate as him, died, or moved on with their lives. But that's life, and that's the part of life I think he doesn't understand. So here was the poem that I wrote for that exchange. Dear Mom, I thank the God within myself that your heart is strong. How is it that so many others seem to have it wrong? Locked away, far away in a cell I stay. I watch the sunrise and set another day. Where are all my friends, my peers, my homies on the streets? These are the thoughts I have at night as I lay between the sheets. Where are they? Why does no one seem to care that I am trapped between these mountain peaks that is the devil's lair? I risk my life for others, my freedom just the same, to have the back of so-called friends that play a Judas game. It's hard to trust, even harder to believe, that there's some good left in this world that's made so many grieve. If I can't help but to think, as cynical as it is, we're born alone and die alone, and that's just the way it is. Love, your son. So my mom had a response to that. It was pretty short, sweet, and to the point. Dear son, we're not born alone, nor die alone, for your Lord is always there to help you over stony paths and heal our dark despair. There are ones that care for us, but some will turn their backs. Do not think the worst of them for feelings that they lack. I know the life that you've lived has made you how you are. It's hard to trust and believe in others when both can leave a scar. But do not let your anger live or have that final say, or it will rule your very soul and lock your heart away. With love, your mom. It's always hard for me to read these, but I'm going to find the strength, and I'm going to continue to read these to you all the way until Sunday. I'm going to find a couple more, but I miss her, and you know, I know that she's proud of me, and I know she's with me and through all this, and just so many wonderful things, so many remarkable goals I have beyond this. I mean, I want to give back. I want to contribute in some way to break this cycle, you know, to keep the next kid from going down the path that I went, from letting them understand that the lifestyle is not what you think it is. It's not what it's cracked up to be at all. And it took me several years to learn that, and I learned it, and here I am. I mean, I believe that I have the recipe and the formula for success. Circumstances of me getting out was I lost my mother 6 months before I was released, give or take a few days, a couple of weeks, give or take. And I just made a promise, and I knew that no matter how hard it was going to be, I was going to survive. I was going to make it. And I got dropped in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, with $38 and the shirt on my back. I'm not from Oklahoma. I've never lived here. Don't know anybody here. My only connection to Oklahoma is the bank that I robbed in El Reno. Because my mother died and I had nowhere to go, I was forced to come back to the state, to the jurisdiction of the crime. And I'm a California boy, born and raised. Lived a little while in Texas, never been in Oklahoma. Didn't even know which direction north, south, east, and west was. But I figured it out, and I made it. I stayed strong. I kept my head held high, and I did it. I got 2 jobs. I go to full-time school, and I got a house, a car. I'm doing great. And I believe that I can help others. You know, I can point them in the right direction if I'm just given a chance. this book right here is the beginning of something great. It's not about selling books at all. That's not what this is all about. This is all about reaching people and finally putting an end to this insanity that causes so much pain. Because I don't need to sit here and shed tears knowing that my mother died before she saw the success and that she saw her son make it. But I could live by helping others not put their mothers through the same things that I put them through. And I just want to say from the bottom of all our hearts that I'm very sorry that all of you had to go through that. I'm very sorry that you've been put through this. And know that you're appreciated and you're loved. And where this goes from here is I plan on, starting a nonprofit. I plan on working with kids, at-risk youth, gang members, people that are addicted to drugs that can't get right. I mean, I believe that I have a formula and a recipe for success. I believe that I can help people. And that's really the goal. So we can all make a difference if we all work together. We get all these groups together and we get people together and we advocate. We go up into the halls of Congress and we lay out like what we think that we could do to end this mass incarceration that's in our country. And that's pretty much all I have to say. If you are interested in purchasing a copy of Dear Mom, Dear Son, you could do so by going to Amazon.com or Kindle Unlimited. It's available on Kindle in a paperback or ebook, and it's available in paperback through Amazon.com. Follow the link that's attached to this video, and it'll take you directly to the page that you can purchase the book. With that, I will see you next time for the next excerpt. You guys have a great night.